Hey guys, happy Monday. I wrote something down in my journal that I made for us. Yes, a journal for us. And although this is not the first thing that's in, it's important to talk about this. And before I even get started, hold on. Last week was my week to read Samuel's 1, and I feel as though there is, in most of the Bible's chapters, we have things that we can see for ourselves. But in Samuel's 1, I feel like this is something that can be a hardship or a catalyst if we allow it to be. And every single person has been able to go through it. And so I'm just going to actually read, and then I might just start talking. But we're going to read exactly from what I wrote down. Sometimes we find ourselves in situations like David and Saul, intimidating someone with who God is calling us to be, where they are jealous of not only our calling, but how other people love us, appreciate us, and see us. Saul tried to sabotage David many times, and yet David had no idea at first. He was walking in his calling, trying to be what God was directing him to be. David was focused. He wasn't worrying about comparing to Saul or anybody. He was doing what he was intended to do. He was walking in alignment, much like we do when we decide to focus. A lot of times, all it takes is comparison. Saul was a king of an entire nation with all of the riches he could ask for. He was not only rich, he was handsome, and he was honored amongst all the people. David was the youngest of 6 children. He was a shepherd. He was not cute. He was a shepherd, but then he turned into a commander under the authority and rule of Saul himself. So he not only was a shepherd that actually got the opportunity to actually have a role, but either way it go, he was still under the rule of Saul. And the entire time of Saul's life, he considered him beneath Saul and honored Saul still, even after these attempts of sabotage. David was even Saul's son's friend. Saul had honor, authority, and experience to mentor and steward and nurture David in his calling, and be grateful to have a servant with the oil in his life, considering God wasn't even with him. Not only could Saul have mentored, nurtured, and stewarded David into his gift, but he could have used his relationship with God to help him and strengthen his relationship with God. Because God, as we know, God was not with him. God actually didn't even want him to be king. But because the people wanted him to be king, that's who he anointed to be king. What people don't realize is that this oil has a covering to it. To be anointed is to also shield others and protect others, to nurture others. But in some cases, we know that if you stay around these people and you are ignoring when God is telling you to walk away from certain situations, or God is pushing you out of situations, then after you leave the situation, all heck break loose after you leave, it's because during that time God was pushing you out so that he can do what he needs to do in their life. Not necessarily because they need to be tortured or they need to have something bad happen to them, but because in that chaos is building them. But that chaos that they would have deterred you from your purpose, and you would have thought that you needed to make it your responsibility to cover this person, to protect this person, and take responsibility for this person's problems and overextend yourself. That, or they would have tried to put their chaos onto you, and you would be weakened or hurt in the process. Saul's son was Jonathan. Jonathan was said to have loved David as much as himself. So Saul's attempts to kill David were not only painful for David, but for Jonathan. Jonathan was loyal. Jonathan was not only loyal to loving his dad, but he also loved the people that he loved that his dad was trying to go against. So he wouldn't kill his own friend or try to hurt his own friend just because his dad would want to. Even when his dad told him that David will take your place as king, he defended David because justice and integrity mattered more than what seemed to be a huge accomplishment. So even though Jonathan knew that David was going to be a king and he could have had the opportunity to be a king, he would rather have been loyal and been a good friend. Because the thing about it is, even if David was killed, who's to say that Jonathan could have held the pressure of being a king? He loved his friend more than what could have come from his friend's demise. And the reason why I wrote this down is because sometimes We live in a world now where people value what could come from taking your place and holding your crown than rather having the integrity to know that God is putting this person in his place for a reason. There's a reason why this person is supposed to be in this place. And it's not only like, oh, this person has gone through this, gone through that, but God has a bigger purpose than what it looks like. David ended up becoming a model citizen for a man in Christ, a model citizen for what the Israelites needed to know that they need to honor God more, because for years they were not acting how they were supposed to act. They were not doing what they're supposed to do. So to have David as king in comparison to Saul, who Saul put his emotions and what he wanted before Christ and before what God wanted him to do, even though God anointed him and made him king, it was similar. Saul's rule was similar to God giving the Israelites the freaking promised land and them deciding to do whatever they want when they get the promised land, instead of honoring who gave them the promised land and remembering his rules, the simplest rules, to be able to stay in this promised land and not have problems. And that's why they had the problems that they had. They couldn't carry the weight of what God had gave them without God. So to say that I'm going to take something when I know that God wants to get it to this other person is basically me saying that I think that I independently have the power to take on this responsibility and take on this position by myself. When in all honesty, you may think you can do stuff by yourself without God, but when you have him, it's better because it's easier, because God's going to take the weight of what is trying to hurt you. And also God's going to take the weight of your problems and make you be able to go through things in a flowing manner. And also when you do have hardships, it's easier for you to go through those hardships because they are actually teaching you something. When you're doing something by yourself, you're blind. You don't know what's coming next. You're not God. You don't know what's coming next. You get what I'm saying? And like I said before about Saul being emotional, for me, Saul being in this and him exhibiting these emotions and different things that he had going on, it showed me that his position in the Bible and us being able to see this, to me, was a lesson of how emotions, comparisons, and entitlement can fester in a person. How not being in control of yourself can ruin not only your reputation, but your family. Saul was an example of how not being in control of your emotions can ruin not only your reputation, but your family, your honor, and everything that you have decided that you have built. Emotion can take a hold of you and allow you to be a vessel for evil and use you to attack God's people. And it doesn't take much. All it takes is a hole. And that hole needs to be fed, right? So you feed this with more evil. Because Saul lost control and personal insight of David, he used the loyalty of the people who were in his kingdom to keep him on the throne by projection. He projected his crimes, his actions onto David. He literally told these people, David is trying to kill me. David never tried to kill you. When you tried to kill, David ran. And later on, we're going to get to that. Saul was the one who plotted to kill David. He tried to kill David 5 times. Using the people around him, he got information and tried to kill a priest of God off of his delusional lie. So not only was he using his projection to hurt the person God anointed to be able to take his place, but anybody in that path, he tried to kill them as well. So it got to a point where there was a priest who tried to help David. First of all, David actually lied. David said that Saul had sent him to, I don't know if it's the altar, I forgot what it was because I didn't write it in here. But David literally lied because he was hungry. He tried to get food from the priest. So the priest fed him and the priest gave him the sword of Goliath that he already, first of all, really it was his sword because who killed Goliath? David. So he gave him the sword that Goliath had because he wanted to protect himself. He wasn't finna kill Saul. He still was a commander of an army. You know what I'm saying? And he still was having to lead people into battle. He literally tried to create his own leadership and all this other stuff. And I feel like this is an uncommon of today as well, because some people today try to project what they have done to another person onto that person so that they can create an army of people to try to help them to go against, to try to get information on this person, to try to continue to go against, even when this person has removed themselves from them. A lot of times, these people, the army, believe these things. Just as how Saul's army believed that David was out to kill him. People believe these things, and they end up later having to suffer the consequences of them choosing an alliance with something that they have no business being in. What these men would be called today is enablers. There is no way you're around this king who is always leading with his emotions, doing whatever he wants to do, and you do not see that something is wrong here. This is the reason why I say these people were enablers. They had to turn a blind eye to it because of his honor and his power and the position that he held instead of what it was looking like face value. For example, they made a song about David because he killed Goliath. This man killed a giant with a sling and a rock. What do you think they're supposed to do? Of course they're going to cheer for this man. That is when it initially started. That's when the comparison started. They made a song about him and they cheered for him. They honored him. They appreciated him. This is when it started. If you're around this person and all of a sudden, the person who you see as not only your king, but his son's friend and his own person who he commanded to be his commander is now somebody who is the enemy, even though he is leading and helping him to be able to fight the Philistines and trying to save the kingdom. He's trying to save your kingdom and you trying to kill him because he is going to be honored more than you and the next person to be on the throne. So instead of you trying to help him get there and continue to allow him to help you by killing the Philistines and helping you to win a war, you decide that you want to kill the person who is sent in your life to help you. People will want to antagonize the person who is sent in their life to bless them. And if we go to the end of this story, which I'm to skip to for just this 1 second, you will understand that the fact of the matter is him being so distracted on trying to kill David cost him not only his life, but all 3 of his sons and the kingdom. So what you were fighting for the whole time, you lost because not only did you lose your distraction, but the person who was sent to help you, save you, you tried to destroy. And it caused you to be destroyed. And you'll see that in real life time. You'll see that in real life today. People will literally destroy themselves trying to destroy somebody else. Everything is sent back to them. And they're thinking, oh my goodness, this person is attacking me. Something is going wrong. I think because they can't take accountability for the fact that you done played with this person so much. Now everything done turned back around. Let me refocus. These people enabled Saul in his delusion instead of stopping him until they were told to kill a high official man of God. Why? Because they feared the consequences of God for themselves. So let me say this. They feared what would happen to them by killing the man, but they want to help him to kill another man who God is trying to appoint. So what is the difference, really? To me, personally, I just feel like it's just stupid, honestly. But anywho, there was one man who had recently been spiritually cleansed by the priests themselves, ironically, decided that he was going to kill the priest. He literally, when David was there to get the sword, this man was getting spiritually cleansed. You needed them, and now you're killing them? Oh, excuse me? He killed their families, too. He killed 80-something people, or something around that number. A lot of people that didn't need to die. And the problem that I have with this is that Saul wonders why God is not with him. What are you doing? What's really going on? You just literally killed the people of God, who was going to probably could pray for you and help you to be able to get some covering on your life. And you just killed them. Why? Because you feel betrayed over a lie that you made up. What? Throughout this whole thing, we're going to get back to David. David, throughout this whole time, is still continuing to seek God, even though he's in his darkest times. This man's best friend's father is trying to kill him. That's basically his father. He left home. His father is Jesse. He left home and he decided to come to the kingdom. He's the commander-in-chief. His brothers are in the army, obviously, but he done left his daddy. He the youngest. The baby's supposed to be with his parents. So now he done basically decided to be with this family and be a commander with these people. And his best friend is the king's son. So guess what? How do you think he feel about Saul? He loves Saul. He sees Saul like a father. And in the Bible, he actually calls him father in the midst of him almost dying and him not hurting Saul when he had the advantage of killing him. Even when Saul had the advantage, he was still thinking of him, my Lord, anointed one, Father. You could just tell this man loved this person, even though this person was trying to get him. Crazy. Throughout this, he continued to be a leader who sought God in all his decisions. He moved with integrity. He moved with humility. And even when given the same opportunity to kill Saul, he did not. In today's time, it's easier for us to make someone feel how we feel, but we have to know that God will handle the situation better than us. This is something that even I've struggled with. Because even though it takes a couple times for you to play with me, for me to decide, oh, I'm going to show you what it really feels like to bite. I'm going to show you what it really feels like to bark. But I still have the urge, even though I have not been doing it lately. I still have the urge. Let me say this. I was inspired by David when he said this, because even though you can know and see and be in the perfect position to hurt somebody, you don't have to do it. And David didn't. Even though Saul went to relieve him in a cave that not only David was in, but his whole army. Ambushed. You're ambushed. And guess what they did? The army said, kill him. David cut off a piece of his robe and immediately felt like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. He got up from his position and he said, Saul, I'm so sorry. I cut your robe. I don't want to hurt you. I'm not going to hurt you, basically. That's how I saw it going down. Saul tried to kill David 3 times before God gave David the perfect clearance and opportunity to kill Saul. And David did not even kill Saul. That's a king right there. David still protected him. He even got a second opportunity to do this. He even got a second opportunity, a clear path to kill Saul. And he still didn't kill him. But guess why? He was there. Saul was in these places where he could have got killed because he was looking for David, to kill David. So not only did he try to kill him 3 times before David decided that he was going to flee and try to run away from him, when Saul tried to come and kill him, he almost died. But David was so good that he didn't do it. And even when he decided that he wasn't going to kill him and he tried to say sorry and all this stuff, he still humbled himself before him. My Father, the anointed one, I will not kill you. You are anointed by God. Who am I to kill you? Who am I to hurt you? I will not hurt you. Now, let's get back to what I was talking about. Meanwhile, Saul was full of so much hate for David that it actually distracted him from his own abundance and led to not only his demise, but his death. Mind you, the entire time this is happening, the Philistines have beef with the Israelites. Saul is so self-centered. Instead of trying to create strategies to protect his people and his kingdom, but you claim you're protecting your kingdom by killing David. Excuse me. He was worried about his possessions, his throne, his honor. He was worried about things that were not going to carry him into the next life. He was worried about things that were not going to leave an actual reputation for him after he leaves the world. He was worried about the material riches of the world. He was worried about earthly things. Excuse me? He was so obsessed with David that he put his obligations on the back burner, leading to the Philistines eventually attacking the kingdom. Confidently, in my opinion, confidently. Because where have you been? We've been looking for you. We've been trying to fight. We've been taking down your kingdoms, your little villages one by one. What are you doing? Chasing after David. Excuse me? This man chose trying to sabotage what God already decided for his own desires, to the point that his sons were killed. R.I.P. Jonathan. And the last thing this crazy man is thinking about is being humiliated for being captured. He was a weakling to me. And I ain't gonna lie to you. He was a weakling. Because what do you mean the last thing you worry about is, I don't want to be humiliated. Somebody, kill me! They coming! Kill me! I'm finna be humiliated. Not, I have failed my kingdom. I have failed my people. They have overthrown y'all. I have failed you all. You all honored me. You all looked up to me. And I failed you. Excuse me. The person didn't want to kill him. This man done laid on his knife. And then he didn't even die. God is funny. I'm sorry. But it's kind of ironic to me that you try to kill yourself and you can't even kill yourself. He couldn't even kill himself. He's still asking and begging somebody to kill him. And then the person who killed him was an Emirite and Markorite. Or when they actually brought the crown and bracelets to David, he was in the Zebra City. But they brought the stuff to David and told him what happened. And David was crying. He was mourning not only Jonathan, his best friend, but he was mourning Saul himself. He fasted for them both. And when he found out that Saul did not die from falling on his sword, but because of the Emir, whatever, I'll put it right here, he had the Emir person killed because he felt as though this man has killed an anointed one. This man has killed an anointed one. You gotta go. Because you have disrespected God by killing this person. Even though this person been trying to kill me this whole time. And what a mighty good man. Oh, I forgot to say that. This whole time he worried about being embarrassed. This whole time he trying to kill himself because he was worried about being embarrassed, and they still put his body up for display. You got embarrassed after. Wow. All right, that's all for today, folks. Next time you will hear about this throwback of when I actually was inspired by the Israelites, and I just need to keep reading. Good day. Oh, so basically my message of today is that don't compare yourself to other people. Do not let evil dwell in you to the point where you cannot see and nurture and honor what God is placing in another person. I don't care if somebody has many talents and you don't feel like you have any. You have a talent. And this person is not in your life for you to feel like they're boasting their talents and they're putting it in your face, but that they are an inspiration to you figuring out what yours is. Or for you to hone one of them that they have. One thing y'all have to realize is these people are not talented for themselves. They're talented for you. So be inspired. And I hope that the story encouraged you to understand that even when these people are trying to come against you, God is with you. So seek him and try to allow yourself to know that this person is battling things that have nothing to do with you. They're mad about things that have nothing to do with you. They're trying to find reason. They're trying to victimize themselves. They're trying to put themselves in a place to be a victim, but still are actively seeking you. And you need to, after you understand that they're actively seeking to try to destroy you, you need to understand that God is in a place where he's going to be able to handle this situation better than you could ever handle it. And if you are feeling discouraged with your gifts or with the position of your life, please know that God has a reason for you being there. The same way, there was a reason for Saul being king. There's a reason for David being king. There's a reason for Saul even knowing of David. He was supposed to bless him. He was supposed to protect him. He was supposed to end up, and probably 9 times out of 10, if he would have played it out differently, David could have saved Saul's life. As a person who was not only blessed by God and Saul was not blessed by God, David was so good to the kingdom that he would have lended his righteousness to the kingdom. He would have covered the kingdom. He would have blessed the kingdom. So don't look at somebody else's blessings as a lack of yours. Sometimes people are in your life and they're a blessing because they are here to bless you too. Or simple fact of the matter is you should be happy for them to be blessed. Why? Because if they are blessed, then there's a purpose that God is appointing onto their life, and you are in close proximity to somebody who can make a difference, not only for you all and that person. Basically, what I'm trying to say is you don't know the impact of what God is placing on somebody's life. What I'm trying to say is some people's blessings are not only their blessings, but they can help save you as well. And you can be inspired by those things, and you can help them nurture and steward those things, because it's not easy for those people to carry their purpose. So in doing that, you are not only helping them put the purpose out that God has, but you are a contributor and a helper in that process, and it could bless you in the process. Similar to the fact that Saul could have blessed David and got blessed because he blessed David. So, yeah.